See, and we are live. Welcome everyone to the Bite Back Tour. My name is Levy Sun. I'm with the San Gabriel Valley Mosquito and Vector Control District. And this episode, we are focused on how to be water wise and bite free. Before we jump right into it, I want to go ahead and introduce everyone that's here with us. I'll start with the Mosquito Control District. My name is Levy. We'll go around to Pablo and then Ali.
Hi everyone, my name is Pablo and I'm the Communication Specialist here at the San Gabriel Valley Mosquito and Vector Control District.
Hi everyone, I'm Ali Gaspar and I'm the Outreach Assistant here at the district.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and toss it over to one of our special guests, Walnut Valley Water District.
Hi everyone, I'm Lily Lopez and I serve as the Director of External Affairs at Walnut Valley Water District.
Hi everybody, my name is Donna Delora and I'm the Conservation Programs Manager at Walnut Valley.
And then finally, Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District.
Hi everyone, Nicole Delgado with the Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District. I'm Government and Community Affairs Outreach Representative.
So if you're wondering why we have mosquito control and water districts coming together, hang tight, we'll get to that soon. What I want to do is give you some background first on what we'll talk about today, and that is we need to first have a foundation of the threat. Why are mosquitoes an issue? And for those of you who are already aware or grew up around Southern California, you know mosquitoes can be a big deal. It may seem like they've been a lot worse this past couple of years, and it's all times due to a new invasive mosquito called Aedes mosquitoes. They're small black and white creatures, and they bite aggressively during the day, and they have the potential to transmit Zika, dengue, yellow fever, and something called chikungunya. It sounds like an exotic chicken dish, but I assure you it is not tasty whatsoever. And from those who've had it, it is a terrible experience. So if you ever notice these little black and white mosquitoes around your home, those are the Aedes mosquitoes, and they love to live around people. They've actually evolved so that they bite primarily people and not so much the other mammals that are in our cities. And they have
Maybe I would just interject, considering it is St. Patrick's Day, it would not be a lucky day to get.
Yes, absolutely.
Never a good day.
I have a feeling that we're going to be filled with a lot of St. Patrick Day puns today, Pablo.
Oh, I hope you're ready.
Well, let's shamrock and roll.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I should be on SNL. So with these Aedes mosquitoes, they are also very particular about where they like to lay their eggs. And they have a penchant for laying their eggs in any container that may be small and contain stagnant water. And when it comes to stagnant water, we all know that it can appear anywhere, especially in the city. We have, unfortunately, through urbanization, have provided mosquitoes plenty of places to lay their eggs, anywhere from a shovel that's just laid out on a pavement, inside our recycling bins, or even in something as small as a bottle cap of water can attract mosquitoes. But the good news is mosquito control is here. We're out there in the public sphere looking for these stagnant water sources, treating if necessary, and educating the public. We also have a surveillance department that's out there setting up traps throughout San Gabriel Valley, monitoring for any diseases, because our primary goal as an agency is to prevent mosquito-borne disease outbreaks. And that can include West Nile virus, which is the most persistent threat to residents here in San Gabriel Valley. Real quick, if you're just tuning in, you're probably watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or on our website. This is the Bite Back Tour. The theme for this episode is Be Water Wise and Bite Free. And our goal
Everyone's lucky day. It's water districts and mosquito control.
Yes, it is. And if you haven't noticed yet, we're going to be filled with a lot of St. Patrick Day puns. Thank you, Pablo. And our goal is to bite back with you and join with our partners in the water districts and create healthier communities. Now, this does go beyond just mosquito control. Creating healthier bite-free communities means working together and understanding how our actions affect the world immediately around us. So today we are focused on water, and without further ado, let's just get right into it with our special guests, Walnut Valley Water District and Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District. We have a series of questions that have been laid out, some that have been asked by residents, some that we have asked ourselves. We'll start off with the first question. And before I toss that out, if you're watching, feel free to jump into the comment section and add any comments or questions you have. We'll see if we can answer them live. And if you're on our website, if you just look down below, there's our form where you can fill out that form to submit a question. So we'll monitor for any questions that come through. But first, our first question that I also have asked before is, where does our water come from? So I'll go ahead and toss this over to Upper District first.
Thanks, Levy. Okay, so this is like the magic question. I think everyone is so like perplexed about where our water supply comes from. And most of our water supply comes from here, right here in the San Gabriel Valley. It comes from our San Gabriel Mountains that we see, beautiful white peaked mountains. Rain, snow seeps down, goes into our groundwater basin. So 75% to 80% is groundwater, and then the additional 20% is imported water from the Bay Delta. And so there's a series of water agencies, water retailers who are involved in the process of getting that water into your homes. And I know like Lily and Donna could probably elaborate on some of that too as water retailers.
Yeah, especially what Nicole just mentioned, you know, there's that end of the spectrum of customers, residents who are receiving their water from where they can literally see it around their neighborhoods. But communities that Walnut Valley Water District serves, for example, like the city of Diamond Bar and some parts of Rowland Heights, we actually import almost 100% of our water. So that means that it's traveling through our partner agencies that Nicole mentioned, like the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, coming all the way from as far as Colorado and the River Aqueduct, as well as Sacramento through the State Water Project, which includes the Bay Delta water resources as well. So it's really this huge network throughout the entire state, crossing over state lines as well, to transport millions of gallons of water every day seamlessly into your home, into your businesses, and your schools.
And I would just add that that water is treated differently depending on where it ultimately is going to be used. So that water starts in one form, and as it works its way down, for instance, if it's coming from the Delta up in Northern California, then as it comes down, it's treated in different ways. Like at Walnut Valley Water District, we treat it as we need to, and other water agencies treat it as they need to as well. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. And like they said, that water comes from multiple sources.
And then one thing to add is, I know everyone asks like, oh, is my water safe to drink? It's definitely safe to drink. It's treated, as Don had mentioned, it's treated multiple times. It has to meet federal and state standards in order for it to be something that's drinkable and, you know, able to be for everyone to use. Yeah. So we always promote drinking from the tap, and just take one of your reusable water bottles, like what I have right here, and just take it with you wherever you go and drink from the tap. Don't use the bottled waters that you see at the store.
And that'll definitely help eliminate areas for mosquitoes to be in when you're removing bottled water from the environment. Not only is it benefiting, you know, our water resources, the environment, mosquitoes, but yeah, these reusable bottles are amazing. Your water districts will have them. You can always reach out as well. There's giveaways, and it's just another way to really take care of your environment in a simple way.
Absolutely. And you'll save money.
That's true. It's cheaper. Tap water
is much cheaper.
Yeah.
So folks are saving money. They're getting good tasting water. I mean, I got my reusable
there we go.
Here
Yeah.
as well.
Ooh, I'm a part of the gang.
Yeah, the more water to us and less water for mosquitoes. That's the proper way to do it.
Yes.
Right. And then decorate your water bottles. We have like little stickers, little water dirt stickers. Yeah. So if you participate in any of our programs, we give out stickers.
There we go.
So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for shedding some light, because I think when someone turns on the faucet, they just think water's there. Never really thinking about where it may come from and the lengths that we've done as a society to build that infrastructure to get that water to you. So Here comes the next question, and we'll have Walnut Valley Water District answer this one first. Providing reliable water involves many water entities. So who is involved in delivering water to our homes and businesses? We kind of touched a bit on that, but maybe elaborate a bit more on maybe perhaps the infrastructure side of things.
Yeah, I'm going to highlight too. I always like to say the biggest piece that makes sure that the water is being delivered to your homes and businesses, aside from the valuable infrastructure, is the water professionals. It's a workforce of people who come from all different kinds of spectrums, who live in your community, that are providing this water to you. And it ranges from water chemists to field operations to customer service, administration. I mean, we have a wide variety of professionals that are really caring for each and every end of how that water is getting to you successfully, and there for support should anything happen along the way. And as Ben's mentioned, there's just imagine miles and miles of huge pipelines underneath the ground in your home. And I'll hand it over to Donna if you want to kind of shed some light on the actual infrastructure and the delivery.
Sure. So most commonly, the people that are seen are those out in the field, and they are invaluable. They're absolutely our first responders. Those are the people out there to repair a leak, to answer questions if they run into customers and things like that. So very, very important key component of what we do here. Behind the scenes is, like Lily had mentioned, our customer service team that's handling the billing and answering the phone calls and the questions from the customers that way. We have those that are monitoring the water quality. They're testing the water. We have those like in the conservation that are trying to save the water and conserve it and have more for our customers to use. So there are a lot of hands that go into that water getting to our customers, and many are behind the scenes. But those that are out and about, always friendly, always happy to answer any questions as well.
And I think nationally, there's a big message of how important it is to invest in our infrastructure. We see climate change issues and just bridges and roads, when that comes down and there's an issue, you see it, versus the pipes and the systems that are transporting the water. You don't see those as naturally in your regular day, but they're there, and they also require maintenance and care. And every couple of years, every couple of decades, you notice it if your sprinkler's broken, that it's there, it needs to be fixed. So there are people who are keeping track of what's underneath the ground to make sure that's being repaired as well.
Oh, constantly inspecting our infrastructure, our reservoirs, recoating them, draining them, anything that needs to be done, all that's going on constantly and often out of the limelight and out of the sight, but incredibly important.
Yeah. And then one thing to add is most of our water comes from our groundwater. So, and because we're living in a time where droughts are cyclical, it's no longer just a one-off. In the last 22 years, we've had already 4 droughts, this being the 4th one. And so we need to replenish our groundwater basin. And so that's one of Upper District's main functions, is to import water from the Bay Delta up north, and then bring it down here, convey it, and then it goes into our groundwater basin in order for us to meet the demands of all the San Gabriel Valley residents and businesses and commercial, in order to make sure that we're providing safe, reliable water to everyone. But State Water Project is basically a large conveyance system of 400 miles of aquifers, reservoirs, dams, and that water is then, as a member agency of Metropolitan Water District, we then get that water from Metropolitan Water District to replenish the groundwater basin. And as Lily had mentioned, there are, we need to make investments in infrastructure, and as a board, we've also supported measures to make sure that we are making those necessary repairs in order to, if there's earthquakes, to protect our water supply, if there's earthquakes, for subsidence, any of those types of things. So, just those are that's, and then our other things. So and then what we do also is conservation, outreach, education, making sure that residents are aware that we need to make sure that we have a limited supply, and just to protect it and make sure that our groundwater basin is sustainable, and we're able to always meet the demands of the public.
What's really cool too is as, things progress in the world that we've seen, like in our area, specifically in San Gabriel Valley, really hot temperatures. And that was something new. Like, how do we protect all of these assets from these increasing temperatures, and then the power grid going out? So some investing in backup generators, and so we're really mobile and innovative and paying attention to what's going on so we can respond to the climate and the world around us and really continue to service our community.
Yeah.
So fascinating to hear. There's so much more behind the scenes, especially when it comes to keeping or maintaining the infrastructure. And it's good that the water world, so to say, are involved with that, because it just shows how much investment is needed for a region like us. We're pretty thirsty in terms of a region down here in Southern California.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it just amazes me that so much goes into it. And also same thing on the flip side with mosquito control on the back end. We're also trying to keep on top of the rapidly changing climate in our region. I was mentioning these Aedes mosquitoes, the black and white mosquitoes, also known as ankle biters. They're actually supposed to live and survive in tropical climates, but for some reason they love it here in SoCal. And one big reason is partially due to a changing climate, but a lot of it is driven by our actions around the home, providing these lush Jurassic Park-like properties that then provide that tropical-like environment, these microclimates, if you will, around the home. So by understanding where our water comes from, the intricacies of how it's done, I think hopefully people will be more appreciative of that water drop coming out of their faucet and making sure it doesn't go to the mosquitoes, but remains for us to use as people. This does bring up to our next,
I would just add to that, Levy, of how much work goes into the water that's coming to our homes and businesses. Like, we know mosquitoes like stagnant water. It's 5 to 7 days that they'll lay their eggs and emerge as flying adults. And a lot of people associate the green stagnant water, and that's what we ultimately don't want. I hope nobody is drinking any of the green water they see around their areas. But that's the stagnant water that we want to prevent, and water districts do such a great job of making sure all the water you guys are working with is constantly moving and clean and getting to our properties and homes safely.
And to touch on that, Pablo, that's a really good point, because you kill two birds with one stone, because right now there are these prohibitions that the State Water Project just adopted, and it's basically to eliminate wasteful water use. So, and basically it would eliminate runoff. So like the prohibitions mean like, don't let like excessive water run through on your sidewalks or driveways. Rather than using water hose to clean your driveway, use a broom. So, things like that. Don't, cut your water use, cut your water when you're watering your lawns, when you're irrigating, all of that. So, and that there's like fines associated with that. There's warning letters associated with that, but also the excessive runoff leads to stagnant puddles of water, which then are like breeding grounds for mosquitoes. So if you eliminate wasteful water use, you eliminate breeding grounds for mosquitoes. So it's like, it's a win-win.
Another great way to just tack right on there is, eliminating their breeding grounds. A huge way to cut water waste and use and remove these climates that the mosquitoes are thriving in is to transform your yard from this lush tropical to what's a little bit more relative to our climate and these drier, warmer temperatures, and have California natives, and switch over to a more drought resilient, using items like mulch and rocks, rather than the things that require a lot of water. And if you don't pay attention, we'll have like a puddle. I know there's several programs and rebates available to transform your yards. There's lots of local nurseries that provide succulents, that provide these California natives, and they just thrive in our environment in a really beautiful way, and take away that risk for mosquitoes to just be hanging out.
Yeah.
Replace mosquitoes with butterflies.
There you go.
Yeah.
With butterflies and other beneficial bugs, definitely with California natives. I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
you just eliminate the harborage and you're able to save water and really make a difference in your community to make it safer, healthier, and honestly more beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I really want to stress the use of California native plants because it definitely is something that we've been pushing a lot with our water agency partners. A lot of people don't realize it, but mosquitoes have they're actually terrible at maintaining their body temperature, and any fluctuation, especially extreme fluctuations in temperature, can really mess them up and even kill them off. So really hot days kill them off, really cold days can kill them off. So what do? They seek refuge in what we, the people, have provided to them. And many times these lush, dense vegetation that you see around the homes are great refuge for these adult mosquitoes trying to beat the heat in San Gabriel Valley. So we highly advise
Very
people
true.
to use California native plants as much as possible. If you have succulents, ditch those if possible. Those succulent plants are the ones that have the large leaves that come out and they have a cup in the center that can hold water. Well, FYI on those were big culprits in rearing mosquitoes during the Zika outbreak in Florida. So a lot of people just ended up ripping out those bromeliads out of the ground because they can't hold stagnant water for a long period of time, long enough for mosquitoes to lay their eggs in. So,
And I think a lot of people think that they associate drought resilient or California natives with succulents. Like, I mean, there are other types of drought resilient plants and flowers that are beautiful, vibrant, colorful, that restore little habitats like butterflies and bees. It doesn't necessarily have to be like just a succulent. And so bewaterwise.com, which is under MWD's program, has a list of local nurseries that you could go to and different types of plant profiles that are conducive to this climate and Southern California region. So check it out. It's a really great resource if you're interested in replacing your turf with more drought resilient landscaping.
Mhm.
So let's move up to our next question, which ties into what we've been talking about, but maybe could add more insight to it is, what does being in a drought mean for customers? And we can go ahead and have Upper District, you can start there.
So drought, as I mentioned before, is always going to be here. It's like something that we are living with, but now we just have to make sure that we are doing our part to conserve and we're looking for sustainable solutions. Conservation is critical. During the last drought, the conservation, which is 2014, 2016, there was such a huge push among the whole water community, water agencies like us and Walnut Valley Water District, and cities all made a concerted effort to push water conservation, making sure that they're promoting water saving tips, providing resources, providing incentive programs to make sure water efficient devices are installed in your homes and outdoors. And I think that collective effort made a huge impact on water conservation as a whole and saving water for the future. And in turn, we saw like a down trend on water use by 25%. And so that was huge. That allowed us to plan for this actual drought. And that's why we're not like in desperation mode, but we have to make sure that drought is going to be a continuous thing, not only in our region, but in California. And so we need to make sure, even when the drought declaration is lifted, we need to make sure like residents are still aware that conservation is a huge priority. And it makes a huge difference when we are collectively promoting that. So I know we have a bunch of programs. I know Walnut Valley has a bunch of programs. It's there, it's available, and we'll continue spreading that message.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's a really important thing to note that sometimes you think of like drought, it's so big and our state's huge. Like, what could my little action really benefit? But it does. Every little help, even when it's like turning the faucet off when you're brushing your teeth, letting your neighbor know that they have a leak. Maybe you're out in the yard or across the way and you see something that they might not. Maybe they're a little bit like elderly. That's a really big thing of just sharing those resources and giving them a heads up. That goes a really long way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Donna.
I was just going to add that, it's sometimes hearing the word drought, it sounds so serious and can be a little intimidating. But as our customers kind of dive into the different options in the programs, that Nicole and Lily mentioned as well, it is manageable. Everyone can do something to conserve water, and, just every little bit counts.
Yeah.
So
every drop counts.
I've been hearing also from our residents too, when they ask about the impact of drought on mosquitoes, I tell them normally, a drought would limit the amount of water accessible to mosquitoes. So we should logically think there'll be less mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, though, water use by residents have seemed to maintain in certain properties or even increased in terms of water use on certain properties, which could exacerbate the mosquito issues we're facing here in San Gabriel Valley. And another step further is there's been discussion of how it impacts the bird populations in San Gabriel Valley. So I mentioned a little earlier before the bite back tour here that West Nile virus is the most prevalent threat to residents here. Well, West Nile virus is supposed to only stay within the bird population, more specifically the corvids, so like crows and jays. And the mosquito that would bite the birds will then just pass the virus to another bird. So West Nile virus would just pass from bird to bird via mosquito. But when there's a drought, it does reduce the amount of accessible water for all life forms here in Southern California. So then these birds that may be susceptible to West Nile virus will converge on less water sources along with mosquitoes. So that's why it's even more important to make sure we don't have excess water wasted out in the community, which could lead to issues like mosquito-borne disease outbreaks with West Nile virus.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's jump down to a question here about stage 2, because I've heard that before, but I don't quite understand it. I'm sure some of our viewers may not too. And if you're watching, this is the Bite Back Tour. We're talking about how to be water wise and bite free. And you're probably watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or on our website. Feel free to drop in a comment. Hello to David. You're watching online from the city of San Gabriel. Welcome. And let's talk about the question. If you can show that question, Pablo, on the screen. What does a stage 2 water shortage mean? And we'll go ahead and have Walnut Valley start that one first.
You want to take this one, Donna? Take it off.
There's a lot here. Okay, I'll just share a bit and then we can all share. So for Walnut Valley with our stage 2 water shortage, it's directly related to restrictions for our customers. Nicole mentioned a couple of them. They're very common throughout the state. Instead of hosing off your driveway, please use a broom. Check for leaks throughout your home, limiting the number of days that you can water. And one thing I wanted to add specifically about the number of days that you can water is we have been getting phone calls from customers where they're kind of doing a little extra watering on those days because they know that they can't water on the other days, and that is creating additional pools of water. They're wondering why there's mud in their yard or things like that. And so perfect breeding ground for those mosquitoes, right? So you don't necessarily need to water extra. You can use things like a soil sensor, which is going to sense basically how much water is in your soil. When should I water again? You can use weather-based irrigation controllers to better control your watering schedule and things like that. So there are definitely multiple tools out there. The stage 2 water shortage, again, it sounds very serious because it is. But all of these measures that Walnut Valley has, Upper District has, and the other water agencies, it is meant to preserve that water resource. We really do need to conserve and preserve that water resource.
Yeah.
And when you're starting with like, where do I start stage 2 water shortages, you can go online to your local water utility, whether it be your city, your actual water district, and it'll outline, what those look like. And we have it. And that's a good place to start. If you want to look at how can you save water, don't water your yard from outside between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Set those irrigation timers so that it's at appropriate, only water 3 times a day. If you typically wash your cars at home, perhaps there's a local car wash facility that uses recycled water, things like that.
Yeah.
Yep. Same for us for Upper District. It's basically water shortage shortage contingency plan. It's basically like a guide to respond to the changing water supply conditions in the San Gabriel Valley and then the region, statewide. And for us, we're on stage 2 right now, which is there's 6 levels for us. And stage 2 just means upping our water conservation messaging, public information, education, anything relating to conservation, making sure it's district-wide and incorporating drought communications as well. So we have been providing incentive programs. We have a Water Smart Home program, which directly installs water efficient devices in the homes of disadvantaged communities throughout our service area. And that's basically residents are able to, we have like outdoor devices and indoor devices that they could take advantage of, and it's completely free. Like they just pick the devices they want installed in their home, and then we install it free of charge. And so that's been widely successful. A lot of people have taken advantage of that. And then we also have our landscaping programs, rebates from Metropolitan Water District, which are great rebates. It's not only turf replacement, that's huge. That 70% of water usage is from irrigating your lawn. So we always encourage, drought native landscaping, turf replacement, but you could do small things like installing a water smart irrigation system or an aerator for your faucet, or, small things like that, checking for leaks. Like we're always promoting small behaviors that lead to huge results in the end. So those are just some of the actions that and that's what the shortage to contingency plan is. Those are the actions, making sure everyone is aware, what can you do to conserve at home on a daily basis.
I think we touched on like how we really prepare for these different types of scenarios. So these plans are the efforts that the water professionals took time from lessons learned from previous years. As Nicole mentioned, 2014, 2016, we know it's going to happen again. So let's start to plan for that. So we're not in a reaction type of setting. We're in a ready to go. We have this plan. We know exactly what to do. And if we all work together, that these actions will lead to those big results.
Absolutely. And habits that our customers maybe start now will carry on. We're finding that little changes in behavior can conserve a considerable amount of water, and that can continue to last whether we're in a drought or not.
I'm sensing a common theme here between the worlds of mosquito control and water, in the sense that it's all about habit change, a little bit of small actions yielding a lot in terms of outcome. And what we do today can actually result in either a more bite-free future or more water availability and use in the future as well. And just being responsible around our home, because we only have one planet, right? We got to take care of it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Nicole, you did touch on this next question a bit, so I'll give you a chance to expand on it further. But the next question I have for those of us here is, what water use efficiency programs are available to me? So is there anything else, Nicole, from Upper District that's available? And then we'll pivot over to Walnut Valley.
As you notice on my Zoom background, I have a little logo. It's a little water drop with little wrench. It's Fix a Leak Week. I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. I know. It's so exciting. So we're promoting we have a bunch of activities to get residents engaged in fixing leaks around their home, searching for fixing leaks. And so we have one thing in particular is we have a leak detection class. It's an on-demand free class available right now. You have 30 days to register for it and watch it. So please take advantage of it. Everything's on our website, upperdistrict.org, Fix a Leak. And we're giving out swag bags too. So swag bags for anyone who's participating. And swag bag is like conservation devices and stickers and this green sprinkler nozzle.
I like it.
Right.
Yeah.
So take advantage of all these activities that we have.
Okay, and Walnut Valley, any special programs that residents can take advantage of?
Yeah, I actually kind of thought of one as we were talking of Southern California. When you think of how amazing it is to live here and these amazing temperatures, is pools. I'm sure there's a lot of pools in the communities, and they can also be a breeding ground for mosquitoes if they aren't cared for properly. And Walnut Valley offers a pool rebate. So for our customers, if you have a pool cover, we do offer a rebate for that. So it's a credit back to your account. That's a great way to make sure that there's no evaporation happening, as well as keeping it clean. And like Nicole mentioned, we offer a number of different workshops. We are having an in-person leak detection workshop going on this Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Diamond Bar Center.
Yeah.
Everything's available on our website as well at wvwd.com. And yeah, we have goodie bags that we give away as well. These ones will be the dye tabs, so you can see the leaks that go through your toilet, flappers to fix that. And Donna can kind of share too on some of the other resources we have available.
Oh, sure. So we provide a number of resources and inspirational tips on our website. We have a continual kind of cycle of workshops that we offer, both in person, now that we can meet in person again, and also virtually. What has proven very popular over the last few months are succulent workshops. So we have our customers come and they make their own succulent arrangements with a theme, maybe it was Valentine's, or we have some others that are coming up that are very creative, such as Star Wars. So I'm very excited about that one. But yeah,
May the 4th.
May the 4th. That's right. That's right. So, but also, we've got the pool cover rebate, like Lily mentioned, but we also have other programs that are coming down the pike with our schedule, and we're very excited to be able to offer them to our customers. And there's many resources, like I said, that are on our website. The workshops and the how-to videos are very popular, so I would encourage people to take a look at that. If they have a need and they can't reach a plumber or they can't reach someone right away, our website, and as well as other water agencies' websites, are invaluable tools.
I'm glad actually someone mentioned, or both of you mentioned, swimming pools, because that is definitely a big source of mosquito issues in residential areas.
Yeah.
A not so fun fact, a swimming pool that's filled to the brim, that's green and stagnant, can produce about 3 million mosquitoes a month.
Oh my!
Nothing. No.
Oh, yeah.
That's
it's
a
stuff
good
of nightmares. That's why
a
we
horror
always
movie right there.
Yeah,
So
that's
the
why we
cover
always
is
tell
good.
everyone.
So the cover is good for evaporation loss, reducing evaporation loss, and preventing mosquitoes.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, that's another win-win.
There you go.
Yeah. There's so many overlapping. There's such a huge nexus between mosquito prevention and water conservation. And so when you do one action, you prevent
into so many others.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So to prevent issues like this, we encourage folks to maintain their swimming pools properly. We do have a swimming pool texting program where we do fly over all San Gabriel Valley to identify any of these green pools in your community. And we work with the homeowners to resolve that issue, and maybe even provide some of the resources that these water districts have mentioned too. That way, you not only resolve your mosquito problems, but also conserve water in a smart way. I do want to mention something that was brought up consistently in the past couple episodes is this ties more into repellent use. So yes, we can conserve all the water we want. We can also dump out all the stagnant water that is present. But unfortunately, because of the way we have developed our cities, mosquitoes will always be present. And unfortunately, that's just a reality of living here in Southern California. And so the best thing you can do, in addition to all the stuff that you've heard today, is to use repellent. And some people have asked, well, what repellent can I use? There are 4 ingredients to look for on the bottle. So you walk into any pharmacy or the outdoor section, travel section, you should pick up a bottle and look for any one of the 4 ingredients that you see on the screen. Picaridin has been an up and coming one. I really like that one. Oil of lemon eucalyptus, also known as PMD, is definitely derived from the plant, and it has definitely rose in popularity. DEET is the gold standard that's been used for decades. The good news is it doesn't feel like you're putting on oil on your skin anymore. The manufacturers have actually formulated so it actually smells good and it actually feels good when it goes on your skin. And then IR 3535. It's an up and coming ingredient, not seen a lot on our shelves, but it is available. And the key thing to remember is to apply it on any exposed skins. So let's say a scenario here where you have a neighbor who unfortunately did produce excess water around the property. It's cranking out mosquitoes and you want to put on repellent. Make sure you put it on every piece of, or any exposed skin, including neck, your face, your hands and arms if you're outdoors, because these mosquitoes, especially those ankle biters, those black and white mosquitoes, they will seek out any exposed skin and bite. So repellent really is the best way to go. Even for myself, I have all the knowledge in the world I could think of about mosquitoes and how to prevent them, but I can still get bit walking out my front door for 30 seconds. So repellent use is key.
Maybe I would consider mosquito repellent is our lucky charm when it comes to.
Well done. Well done, Walnut.
I'm leaning towards the oil lemon. That sounds.
That's what I was looking at.
Really, yeah. Just stands out to me.
That one actually smells really good, so I highly recommend you guys try it.
Oh, does it?
It does, yeah.
Are they all equally effective too? All these repellents?
So,
yes, they are. Ultimately, it doesn't matter which one, so long as you have one of them. And on the bottle, it'll actually tell you in the front of it, the percentage rate of it, which will basically just tell you how long it's going to last. So depending on what activity you're going to do, you can actually prepare for that better. If you're going to be hiking or maybe outside for a long period of time, let's say you want oil lemon eucalyptus, you want to make sure you have more than 50% if you're going to be out for a very long time or going to be out in the woods hiking. But if you're just going to be, like Levy said, going to the car, or doing little errands and casually being outside, maybe something less like 30% would work for you.
Okay.
Those are good tips.
Thank you.
So if you're doing redoing your landscape, if you're working with succulents outdoors in your garden, on your patio, anything for more than an hour, anything above 25-30% will be good in terms of concentration. The percent doesn't mean how amazingly well it works. It's just the length of time it can work.
Yeah.
So we are nearing the end here of our Bite Back Tour. If you're watching, this is the Bite Back Tour season 2. Our theme is be water wise and be bite free. And we're going to head over to closing remarks. We'll go ahead and start with Walnut Valley Water District. Anything you wanted to say to residents of San Gabriel Valley?
We really encourage our customers and our residents to get involved with what's going on in your environment in protecting and preserving these natural resources and what you want the future for your children or friends to look like with these water supplies. And an easy step is just check out our website, or if you prefer social media, we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and we'll be sharing all kinds of water conservation information all the time.
Yeah. And I would add, if you have a question and you can't find what it is that you're looking for on our website or another agency's website, call. Because, we all are motivated. We want these questions. We want these phone calls because we need to know what our community needs. So please contact your water agency if you can't find what you need.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I like to echo those remarks too. There's so many resources available to residents. Just take advantage of them. Go to our website, upperdistrict.org, go to our social media. We have lots of programs and lots of different types of giveaways that will incentivize you to continue those conservation habits.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
They're usually free. Participation is free, no cost to you. We'll guide you as much as we can as well to make it as low cost to have those habits just become part of daily life.
Yes, exactly.
That's a great note to end on. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Walnut Valley Water District and Upper San Gabriel Valley Municipal Water District. For those tuning in, we do have another Bite Back Tour episode coming up on April 21st at 11 a.m. And it segues from this one. It's about spring gardening and what you can do to make sure you stay bite free while making sure you have a beautiful spring garden. So thank you so much to our special guests today. And for those watching, stay healthy and bite free. We'll see you later.